Have you ever wondered what the key to lasting love, deep connection, and true confidence is? Is there a secret that older generations have carried? One that could change the way we see intimacy, self-care, and relationships? In a quiet village, nestled among emerald green mountains, lived Dona Elvira, an 85-year-old woman whose wisdom had been shaped by love, loss, and a life well lived. One golden afternoon, her granddaughter Anna approached her with a question, one that many women are too hesitant to ask. What unfolded next was a conversation that would change Anna's understanding of love, intimacy, and the power of self-care forever. Dona Elvira didn't just share advice, she passed down a hidden truth, one that most women don't learn until it's too late. In this video, we uncover the profound wisdom that Dona Elvira shared. Wisdom about strengthening not just the body, but the bond between two hearts. You'll discover. Heavy checkmark, the simple yet powerful practice that can transform your health and relationships. Heavy checkmark, why intimacy is more than just physical connection. It's about the unspoken language between souls. Heavy checkmark, the biggest mistake women make when it comes to self-care and love, and how to avoid it. Heavy checkmark, how one conversation between a grandmother and her granddaughter turned into a movement that changed countless lives. By the end of this video, you won't just walk away with knowledge. You'll feel empowered to embrace a new perspective on love, confidence, and the art of caring for yourself. Stay with us until the end, because this isn't just another story, it's a lesson that could change everything. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. Nestled in a picturesque valley, where emerald green mountains embraced a quaint village, lived Dona Elvira, an 85-year-old woman whose very presence radiated wisdom. Time had woven intricate lines upon her hands, and her once ebony hair had surrendered to the moonlight hue of age. Yet, her eyes, oh her eyes, still held the fiery glimmer of youth, a testament to a life well lived, filled with love, laughter, and the bittersweet wisdom of experience. One golden afternoon, as the warm sun bathed the village in a soft glow, Dona Elvira sat on her weathered wooden veranda, cradling a delicate porcelain cup filled with her favorite chamomile tea. The scent of blooming jasmine danced through the air, and the gentle rustling of leaves provided a soothing melody. Just as she took a slow sip, relishing the moment, her granddaughter Anna approached, her face tinged with both curiosity and a touch of shyness. Anna, newly married and brimming with the intoxicating glow of young love, hesitated for a moment before speaking. Her heart pounded, unsure if the question she carried was too bold, too intimate. But if there was anyone she could trust, it was her grandmother, the woman who had always spoken with honesty and warmth, who had never shied away from life's most delicate topics. "Grandma," Anna began, her voice gentle yet laced with uncertainty, "I've heard about some exercises. Ones that help strengthen certain muscles, the ones connected to intimacy. Do you know anything about them?" A knowing smile spread across Dona Elvira's lips, and with a soft chuckle, she set her teacup down. "Ah, my dear Anna," she said, her voice a soothing melody of nostalgia and understanding. "You mean Kegel exercises?" Anna nodded, leaning in, eager to learn from the woman who had always carried the answers to life's unspoken mysteries. Dona Elvira's eyes sparkled as she continued, her voice rich with the wisdom of decades. "Oh, how times have changed! When I was young, such things were whispered about in hushed tones, if they were mentioned at all. But knowledge, my sweet girl, is power. Kegel exercises are not just for health. They are a gift to yourself, to your body, and to the sacred bond you share with your husband." Anna listened intently, her heart swelling with admiration for her grandmother's openness. "Strengthening those muscles is like tending to a hidden garden," Dona Elvira mused, her gaze distant as if reminiscing about her own youth. "A strong pelvic floor can help prevent certain ailments. Yes, incontinence, discomfort. But more than that, It enhances the very essence of intimacy. You see, my love, intimacy is not merely the closeness of bodies. It is the intertwining of souls, the silent language of devotion, the unspoken poetry between two hearts. Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest, realizing that love, in its deepest form, was far more than she had ever imagined. With a wistful sigh, Dona Elvira's fingers traced the rim of her teacup. "I remember when your grandfather was alive," she murmured, a hint of longing in her voice. "We cherished our moments together, and we spoke openly, without shame or hesitation. He used to tell me that trust and communication were the foundation of our love. Kegel exercises, my dear, were part of that communication. They were not just movements of the body, but gestures of care, a silent whisper that said, 'I cherish you, I honor what we share.'" If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Anna's eyes misted over as she imagined her grandparents in their younger days, sharing stolen glances and heartfelt conversations. With a playful twinkle in her eye, Dona Elvira suddenly leaned closer, lowering her voice as if sharing a delicious secret. "And let me tell you something else, Anna. These exercises are a blessing in more ways than one. They bring confidence, vitality, and yes, even joy. One day, if you decide to bring a child into this world, they will help you through that journey as well." Anna let out a small laugh, her cheeks flushed with both amusement and gratitude. She reached for her grandmother's hand, squeezing it gently. "Thank you, Grandma," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I never imagined that something so simple could hold such depth, such meaning. I feel like I understand love and intimacy in a way I never did before." Dona Elvira smiled, her heart swelling with love for the young woman before her. "Ah, menina," she said softly, patting Anna's hand. "The true secrets of a lasting love are not found in grand gestures or fleeting passions. They are in the smallest of things, the way you listen, the way you care for each other, the way you nurture both body and soul. And remember, my dear, the strongest love is built not just on romance, but on the tender acts of devotion you choose every single day." As the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting a golden glow upon them, Anna felt a sense of profound gratitude. This moment, this conversation, would stay with her forever, a lesson not just about exercises, but about the delicate, beautiful dance of love, connection, and self-care. In a serene valley where the emerald embrace of mountains cradled a quiet village, lived Dona Elvira, an 85-year-old woman whose presence alone commanded both respect and warmth. The seasons had kissed her hair with silver and etched wisdom into the delicate lines of her hands, yet her eyes, oh her eyes, retained the sparkle of a soul untouched by time. They were the kind of eyes that had seen love in its rawest form, endured heartbreak, witnessed joy, and carried the quiet strength of a woman who had truly lived. One golden afternoon, as the sun bathed the hills in honeyed light, Dona Elvira sat on her weathered wooden veranda, gently swirling a delicate porcelain cup of chamomile tea between her fingers. The fragrant aroma of blooming jasmine wove through the warm breeze, mingling with the distant laughter of children playing in the village square. Just as she took a slow sip, savoring the familiar comfort of her afternoon ritual, she heard the soft patter of approaching footsteps. It was Anna, her beloved granddaughter, newly married and glowing with the intoxicating bloom of young love. There was a quiet hesitation in Anna's steps, a nervous energy wrapped around her like an invisible shawl. She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, her cheeks faintly flushed with a mixture of anticipation and shyness. "Grandma!" Anna's voice was gentle, almost tentative. Dona Elvira looked up, her gaze as warm as the sunlit afternoon. "Yes, my dear," she asked, setting her cup down with a knowing smile. Anna fidgeted slightly before lowering herself into the chair beside her grandmother. There was something she needed to ask, something personal, something she had hesitated to bring up with anyone else. But if there was one person in the world she could trust to answer without judgment, it was Dona Elvira. She took a deep breath and finally voiced the question that had been circling her thoughts for days. "I've heard about some exercises, ones that help strengthen certain muscles, the ones connected to intimacy. Do you know anything about them? A slow, understanding smile spread across Dona Elvira's lips, and a twinkle of amusement flickered in her wise eyes. With a soft chuckle, she leaned back in her chair, folding her hands in her lap. "Ah, my sweet Anna," she said with a touch of nostalgia in her voice. "You mean Kegel exercises?" Anna nodded, leaning in with curiosity. Dona Elvira's eyes softened as she continued. "Oh, how times have changed. When I was your age, such things were whispered about in hushed tones, if they were spoken of at all. Women were taught to be reserved, to shy away from discussions of the body. But knowledge, my love, is power. And let me tell you, Kegel exercises are not just about health. They are about honoring yourself, embracing your femininity, and nurturing the sacred bond between you and your husband." Anna listened, captivated by the depth in her grandmother's voice. "Strengthening those muscles," Dona Elvira mused, "is like tending to a secret garden, one that only you and your beloved know exists. A strong pelvic floor can prevent discomfort, preserve vitality, and yes, my dear, it can enhance the intimate bond you share. But more than that, it is a reminder that a woman's body is hers to care for, to cherish, to celebrate." Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had always viewed intimacy as something physical, something external. But her grandmother spoke of it as something far deeper, something spiritual, emotional, and intimate beyond words. With a wistful sigh, Dona Elvira traced the rim of her teacup. "I remember when your grandfather was alive," she said, her voice wrapped in fondness and memory. "We cherished our moments together. We never let shame or fear dictate our marriage. We spoke openly, we laughed, we explored. He used to tell me that trust and communication were the foundation of love. Kegel exercises, my dear Anna, were part of that conversation. They were not just movements of the body, but silent love letters, an unspoken way of saying, 'I honor what we have.'" Anna's heart swelled at the thought of her grandparents, imagining them sharing stolen glances across a candlelit dinner table, exchanging knowing smiles in the quiet comfort of their home. Then, with a mischievous twinkle in her eye, Dona Elvira leaned in closer and whispered, "And let me tell you a little secret, my dear. These exercises don't just help you now. One day, if you choose to bring a child into this world, you will be grateful for them then, too. A woman who understands her body is a woman who walks through life with confidence." Anna let out a soft laugh, feeling the warmth of her grandmother's words settle deep in her heart. She reached for Dona Elvira's hand, squeezing it gently. "Thank you, Grandma," she whispered. "I never imagined that something so simple could hold such depth, such meaning. I feel like I understand love in a way I never did before." Dona Elvira gave her a knowing nod, her expression full of quiet pride. "Love, menina, is not in grand gestures or fleeting moments of passion. It is in the way you listen, the way you care, the way you nurture the unseen. The strongest love is built not just on desire, but on devotion, on presence, on the smallest acts of tenderness that no one else sees." That night, as Anna lay beside her husband, wrapped in the golden glow of flickering candlelight, she felt a newfound confidence stir within her. Carlos turned to her, his fingers tracing gentle patterns along her arm. "You seem different lately," he said softly. "More confident, more radiant." Anna smiled, her heart fluttering. "It's something my grandmother taught me," she admitted. "She taught me that taking care of myself, inside and out, isn't just for me. It's for us." Carlos listened, his gaze filled with admiration and love. "That's incredible," he said. "I love that you're sharing this with me. It's amazing how something so small can have such a powerful impact." From that night on, Anna and Carlos found themselves talking more, sharing more, growing together in ways she never thought possible. Intimacy was no longer just about the physical. It was about the quiet moments, the whispered conversations, the understanding that love was something to be nurtured like a flame. And months later, when Anna sat once more across from Dona Elvira in that cozy kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee filling the air, she took her grandmother's hand in hers and whispered, "You were right, Grandma. About everything. Dona Elvira smiled, sipping her coffee with a knowing look. Ah, my dear, she said, love is the one lesson we never stop learning. Anna knew then that the wisdom passed down to her was something she too would one day share, a story of love, intimacy, and the quiet strength of women who understood the beauty of tending to the unseen. Dona Elvira listened with a satisfied smile, the warmth of her heart shining through her wise, aged eyes. She reached for Anna's hand, giving it a gentle squeeze, as if sealing the moment with a touch of love and understanding. I'm so happy to hear that, dear, she said, her voice carrying the soothing tone of a lullaby. It brings me great joy to know that something so simple has strengthened your relationship and given you a newfound confidence. That is the beauty of wisdom. It is meant to be shared, to be passed down like a treasured heirloom, enriching the lives of those we love. Anna sat in thoughtful silence, her heart swelling with admiration. She gazed at her grandmother, seeing not just the frailty of age, but the extraordinary woman who had lived, loved, and learned through decades of life's triumphs and hardships. It was in this moment that Anna truly understood. The most valuable lessons in life were often whispered between generations, carried in the soft folds of stories, wrapped in the tenderness of hands that had weathered time. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. She let out a deep breath, a mixture of gratitude and newfound awareness filling her chest. Grandma, you've taught me something truly invaluable, she said, her voice filled with sincerity. Intimacy and love are not things we should take for granted. They must be nurtured with care, respect, and understanding. Thank you for trusting me with your wisdom, for sharing your experiences with such honesty and grace. Dona Elvira's eyes glistened with quiet pride. She gently stroked Anna's hand, her touch light but full of meaning. Ah, my dear, she said with a soft chuckle, intimacy is not something we master once and for all. It is a lifelong journey, one you share with your partner. There will always be new things to discover, new ways to grow together. The key is to remain open, to listen, to learn, and to embrace each other with patience and love. Anna absorbed every word, letting them etch themselves into the deepest parts of her soul. That afternoon, time seemed to slow as the two women continued their conversation. They spoke of love, of loss, of the small joys that make life worth living. Laughter rang through the veranda, weaving through the warm afternoon air like a melody. The scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the fading fragrance of jasmine, and Anna knew these were the moments that she would carry with her forever. The next morning, as the golden rays of dawn spilled through her bedroom window, Anna woke with a renewed sense of purpose. Her grandmother's words had planted a seed in her heart, and she felt a quiet calling to share what she had learned. She realized that so many women around her, her friends, her neighbors, even her own mother, had likely never had conversations like the one she had with Dona Elvira. With a mixture of excitement and nervousness, Anna decided to take the first step. She invited a small group of her closest friends over for tea, creating an intimate, welcoming space where they could talk freely. At first, the conversation danced around lighter topics, their daily routines, family life, and childhood memories. But as the afternoon unfolded, Anna carefully steered the discussion toward the lessons her grandmother had shared with her. With tact and delicacy, she began speaking about Kegel exercises, not as a clinical practice, but as an act of self-care, empowerment, and a way to deepen one's connection with a partner. Her words were thoughtful, never pushy, always inviting rather than instructing. At first, there was hesitation. Some of the women exchanged shy glances, as though stepping into unfamiliar territory. But then, something shifted. Anna's openness, her honesty, the sheer love with which she spoke, created a space of trust. One by one, the women began to share. I've always been too embarrassed to talk about these things, one friend admitted, her voice tinged with both relief and regret. But hearing you speak so freely makes me feel like, maybe it's okay. Maybe we shouldn't be so afraid of these conversations. Another woman, a mother of 3, sighed deeply. I wish someone had told me about this years ago. No one ever spoke to me about my body, about intimacy, about the things that change with time. I thought I was the only one." The room filled with nods of agreement. The unspoken weight that so many of them had carried, the silence, the shame, the fear of judgment, began to dissolve. And in its place, something beautiful emerged. A sisterhood. A safe space. A shared understanding that as women, they were not alone in their experiences. Anna felt a deep sense of pride, not for herself, but for the courage that filled the room, for the honesty that had been unlocked, for the bonds that were being strengthened in real time. She realized then that her grandmother's wisdom was no longer just hers to keep. It was a gift to be passed forward, an eternal thread that connected generations of women. From that day on, the group of friends continued to meet, not just to discuss intimacy, but to support each other through life's many trials. What had begun as a conversation about something as simple as an exercise had become something much greater, a movement of empowerment, a reclaiming of their voices, their relationships, and their own sense of self-worth. Anna never forgot her grandmother's words. Trust and communication are the key to every relationship, not just with your husband, but with yourself, with your family, with your sisters in this life. And though the years passed and Dona Elvira was no longer physically present, her spirit remained. Her voice echoed in every heart-to-heart conversation, in every shared secret between friends, in every woman who finally felt seen and understood. Anna carried her grandmother's lessons like a sacred inheritance, teaching them to others not just with words, but with the way she lived her life, with openness, with wisdom, with love. And so, what began as a simple conversation on an old wooden veranda became a legacy of knowledge, of empowerment, of unbreakable bonds between women who chose to speak their truth. Because some lessons, when shared with love, never fade. They only grow stronger. And so, Anna walked away from that conversation not just with knowledge, but with a newfound understanding of love, intimacy, and self-care. What started as a simple question turned into a lifelong lesson, a lesson that her grandmother, Dona Elvira, passed down with warmth, wisdom, and the quiet strength of a woman who had truly lived. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. What have you learned from this story? What is one piece of wisdom that resonated with you the most? We'd love to hear from you. Comment below and share one thing you've learned from this video that you plan to bring into your own life. Whether it's a new perspective on self-care, a deeper understanding of intimacy, or the importance of open communication in relationships, your insight might inspire someone else on their journey. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue to bring meaningful and thought-provoking stories that enrich our lives. Thank you for watching, and remember, true love, confidence, and wisdom are cultivated in the small, everyday moments. Until next time, Yellow Heart.